Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to TFTV 2 this time around for our ETF2L Season 37 coverage in the second week. We're looking at the match between SVIFT and DuMmTm. My name is Surny. I'm joined by Wiethoofd on the production and Dum on the mic. How's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good. Should be a fun one. I already watched DuMmTm last week, and I was moderately surprised. They went up against a Sand, a matchup where obviously any, quote-unquote DuMmTm here, I guess, wouldn't expect the best chances, but they made it a close effort on process, not so much on Snakewater, and that's the important part to remember now. There's no process tonight. It is Snakewater and product.
That is very true, but product is the, if you're going to already talk about the power rankings of the teams straight away, product is the oddball map. It is the KOF map. It's the one that plays a little bit differently from everything else, so who knows what we can expect out of these teams. We should talk about them very quickly. God knows when they're going to get started. They could start any moment. I've seen, last week, they started almost on time. It was quite something. So let's run down Swift real quick. We've got Seeds on the Met, Nazboy on the Demoman, Everex and Adiski on the Soldiers, and Gazi and Kunu on the Scouts. A very solid team. Some of these players have also stuck together for the past few seasons, as far as I can remember, at least. But it's a mix of a lot of experienced players, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, certainly a powerful roster. I think I've seen most people rate them second to third, mostly second, I believe. Some people saying they can win it
Very
all,
reasonable.
obviously as well. I mean, that's not too unbelievable. Sand has sort of the cohesion advantage for a larger degree than these guys, but like you said, there's people that played quite a lot together here, specifically Avex and Nazboy, for example, have a lot of history with one another on sort of like Swift 6's sort of rosters here in the past. So certainly a powerful looking roster. On the side of DuMmTm, we have Flick and Unikaku on the Scouts, Charlie and Scar for the Soldiers, QB on Demoman, Jorge on the Medic. They have their British, Finnish, Spanish, French mixed team here, if you want to put it by nationalities, coming from all over the place to try to make it work here. We'll see, I guess. I want to say they have playoff chances here. The most direct competition, I think, is the Bus Crew, who had a close loss yesterday to the side of Feint Gaming, and like I said last week as well, any points they get that the Bus Crew doesn't is huge. So if they can sneak anything away here or in the future maybe against Feint, anything more as well, would be huge for them to try to overcome them.
Absolutely. I mean, it really is like the first 3 slots are almost set in stone for most people. And it is really the 4th place playoff race that's going to be interesting to witness as we go into the seasons. And DuMmTm is definitely someone that's a team that's going to have to try and really make a run for it. Again, as you said, they had a surprisingly strong performance against Ascent, a team that you wouldn't expect them to, even put up a fight against. They didn't get completely rolled, so take that as you will. It might be a promising sign as they're headed further into the season. But as you also said, Snakewater maybe not their strongest map, so we'll see how the first map goes. Do you have any idea, if you were to put any form of numbers on this match, any form of prediction, how it would look at the end of the 30-minute mark?
I want to be optimistic about this. I heard from first-hand experiences that Swift, while looking strong, were playing fairly slow last week, so it could easily be like anything on the scoreline here. But I'm hoping for DuMmTm to actually be putting up a good fight here, like we've seen last week on map 1, that they're stepping up the game, cleaned up the Snakewater here, and maybe once again just make it a close loss. Maybe once again the 2 are only on the side of Swift. Sure, that might be still a win for Swift here, but all things considered, if you have the big teams out of the equation early, that just gives you all the time to practice for the matches that really matter.
That's a very reasonable assumption. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all to see Swift take this home. Naturally, they're absolutely the favorite headed into this matchup. And any rounds we can see DuMmTm take, or maybe even the map, would be a huge upset for Swift's playoffs race, because, they may be getting a lot of the easy teams early on, but that's going to make it way harder for them later in the season when it comes down to seeding and playoff spots and all that stuff. So yeah, if they drop some points here, that could really be bad for them later down the line. They really don't want to mess that up at all.
Most certainly, and yeah, seeding matters, and so does the upset as well. We haven't quite had an upset yet this season. We've come close last week a couple of times, like we said. DuMmTm only closely losing to Ascent, making it really difficult for them. The Polish team, Kritzberg, also a very close affair with Feint in the end. We'll see if this might be the first one, or if Swift can stack up to the expectations everyone's putting on them, including probably themselves here, against DuMmTm, going up against them here on map 1 now, CP Snakewater.
Let's see how these teams come rolling into it, if they're all warmed up or if they're going to take 20 minutes to find their way into the match as the teams make it off to the mid-fight. Everybody, obviously just the demos exchanging each other a little bit until the rest of their teams arrive. Medics aren't as fast anymore, so you gotta wait for those heals as well. And everybody's just exchanging a little bit of spam. Not much happening. Nobody really taking a lot of ground. Finally, the blue team bombing in and going hard on, well, Uni. That's a scout pick, but they're gonna lose Kunu in turn. And also Scar and Diski essentially trading. But Seeds being down, no heals now for the side of Swift. So that's going to be a very, very important thing here for New Team. If they can keep Pare alive for long enough, I mean, he's already got his Uber up, so it's definitely going to be a huge thing for them to push into mid. Even if they don't have the positioning right now, they will certainly retake this very, very easily. Potentially, even without using, if they can pressure enough. Everex is behind them, though, so he might just go for a play here onto the mid and just make a force. Yeah, he's going to have to force him out, so that's the Uber out of New Team. They're going to have to try to make as much use of it as they can, but all of Swift just runs away immediately. They've made use of it, and now with a slight ad on their own side. However, having lost mid, we're going to see how this evolves.
30 ad is usable, but it's still difficult. Either way, good mid win for New Team here. They had a weak medic really early, but just played it safe from there. I got him out straight away and just sacked towards people standing towards kitchen, and did a really good job of that sack with that. You just get as much caught as they could. Was 3 down each at that point, and just the Elixir life makes this recap possible. However, much so on the side for Swift now as well, already starting to peak here. Hoche not quite having 75 as we speak here, as Swifts make their entrance. They want to get this going without using, but the slower this goes, the better for New Team.
Exactly, and they're taking so long to get in here. Uni is still fighting Gazi on the sidelines as well, just keeping him out of the fight. That's firepower lacking. Adiski's actually going to go down before any Ubers are even exchanged. Now, New Team soldiers trying to take some high ground as well with the Uber of their own. They're no longer scared of the Swift team, and Swift is actually just gonna back out after losing Adiski. Uni is still in behind as well, pulling back obviously with the back cap, gonna force them back even more, but that's just gonna be it. They're gonna have to stand back on second again and just wait it out.
It takes a scout 2v1 as well to take him down from the back cap in the end here, which is just nice to see, I suppose, here. But yeah, like you said, they just were reinvigorated by the fact that they got this Uber in time for this push to not have gotten too much space yet. New Team can keep mid alive here. The cap on second is nice, but I don't think it will matter here right now. In fact, you can already see them gearing up for a little bit of a slow play, a little bit for the stalemate here. Sniper up on Indikako, trying to just be ahead of the curve here before they might be ready for it. Surprise factor, you only have one chance of it on Sniper, but even then, if the team plays accordingly to the Sniper class, this could still be bad for Swift if they aren't careful about it.
Very, very well. There is a lot of sightlines that he can get here. I mean, this cheeky one through window is already just gonna catch you off guard. You can barely see him at all, and if you are in that sideline, that's gonna be an easy pick. But so far, at least, Swift not really presenting themselves too much. Uni's gonna really have to work for these shots if he wants to get them. And obviously, Seed's in a very safe position if he doesn't peek his head out at all, which, well, he barely is to begin with, but he's gonna be in a very safe spot, so he can't settle for that pick at all now. New Team gonna move in a little bit into the grass area, trying to give Uni a little bit more ground to play with. He's going to get completely denied by Adiski, though, who does pay with his life, but at least Uni hasn't gotten off that shot yet that he needs to get off to be useful here. The longer he spends, he does get a headshot on the Nazboy. No kill, though. Yui's going to move forward a little bit as well, try to create even more ground for Uni to just try and get a shot off
onto
here.
Seeds as well. They need to be careful here, just letting them slowly take space here. In exchange to be playing safe. There we go. Force from Charlie in the backline is the top of the sniper up front of them. Will make Seeds use in the end, which in turn doesn't get much caught as well. Sure, Charlie goes down for a sack, but Swift doesn't dare commit much more into mid right now. They know exactly what's going to happen if they try, as the Uber fates here, pushing into team with Uber as well. They're playing it safe here. They need a force though if they don't want to be stuck in a situation where a last push is inevitable with disadvantage that New Team has right now.
And also, at the very end of that, I saw Uni get a nice little headshot onto Kunu as well, just completely denying any chase that he could have done on the scout, almost getting him killed, actually. And that's going to be now him back on scout as well, leading the push here with his team into second. Not much that Swift can do at all. If they can get a force up, that would be great, obviously, but they're already so backed out. There's Gazi behind, Adiski is getting out as we speak, so they do take second for basically free as Seeds comes up on his Uber again. And I don't know if they're aware that Gazi might be lurking in the backlines here. It looks like he's definitely looking to make something happen. Maybe Scar has found him, or at least gotten a suspicion that there's something fishy going on as the rest of the team pushes forward a little bit more into lobby. as well.
It's a problem though with the scout behind. The player behind is never really bad necessarily, as long as you have enough people up front to still stop a push, but scout is probably not the one you want to see. Obviously a soldier can much quicker close the distance here for a sack play himself, more so than the scout who just has to walk up here. If they don't look at you, I guess it's fine, but that requires a lot of good timing there for you to have that happen. For what it's worth now, so far, as we're in the stalemate right now, new team very well adjusted to this slower playstyle right now. The Swift definitely is happy with as well here. A little bit of action. Gazi comes in as FX tries to sack through lobby as well. Gets caught on shot, and Nasboy goes down as well.
Oh, that is just... Ooh, at least Seeds doesn't force. I saw Charlie jump into him, and he's managed to hang on, dodge all the rockets. So for now, at least they didn't have to force until now, where the exchange essentially comes out. But there being 2 players down on the defending side of Disky, now going down as well, trading with Scar. So the players are not necessarily in their favor. Respawners are here, and as long as new team just, yeah, they can't do enough damage to take care of all these players, so Charlie's the only player up, and he literally just got here because he spawned. He might be able to close at the cap, though!
Oh,
okay.
Not quite. That was such a close call.
Wow.
That was definitely the right thing to do here for Charlie as well. This is so heartbreaking for a new team. They did everything right this entire push. They just didn't do it fast enough. Spawns came in time, while this Heavy was just wasting all of their time here. And it just barely isn't enough. Scar on Spy trying to be there behind them as they're pushing forward. Obviously, they're just basically coming his way already, but they're not going the way he wants them to go. They're going the different direction here. He's on choke there and saw maybe a backup. No, he wants to go for the combo here. He wants the big kill. They need a big kill right now. Seeds has this Uber up and ready, and no reason to use just yet.
Absolutely. Is he gonna get the stab? He's running up to him. He really wants it, but he can't get into his backside. Gazi's gonna clean him up together with Gunu, so that was a very unfortunate play. I assume he went spy because he maybe would try to close out that cap, but Swift were just so quick with pushing out of Lost. He had no chance of getting there in time. And
yeah,
new
that
team
was the funkiest movement by Seeds as well, to not get stabbed as well.
on the back foot now. Swift is rolling it forward. Adiski in already. Does not get the airshot onto Jorge, but he's gonna force him out anyway. So no Uber for new team effectively, as the rest of Swift are so far back where it poses absolutely no threat to them whatsoever. They're just gonna completely wait it out and wait for Disky to come back as well. Take it forward with the full Uber advantage now. New team. They might be pooing their pantaloons a little bit. Faced with this threat, they're not gonna be able to do much unless they manage to get Seeds to pop very, very early. With QB being basically the only player forward, that's not going to happen, and they're going to give up second for Swift to take. Maybe recoalesce on the last hold here and potentially hold on to this round, as Swift already pop in before even turning the corner. They were anticipating the Uni Sniper, and that's a few easy early picks for them to take. Charlie might even get picked up as well. That's only 3 players left on the other side. They have the Uber though, so they're going to be able to maybe use this Heavy as well to push players off the point. FX and Gazi are just still in though. And if they take enough time here, they're going to be able to take care of the Heavy and round out the first round.
That was a nice little sneaky cap. I don't think both the Soldier and the Scout tried to be hiding in the same spot here, but FX just tried to jump away, not reveal the Scout there, and it worked out. They push in at the same time, and suddenly there's just everyone surrounded. There's 2 people behind. The rest of the combo pushing up front as well for Swift here, getting a round on the board for themselves. Really nice. Really a lot of work to be done here, though, for them to actually get this round going, though, so not looking too bad just yet. Certainly still doable with only a 1 round deficit, but we'll see for round number 2, mid-fight number 2 here.
It's certainly hitting off a lot quicker than the last one. Teams already exchanging a lot more ground and spam. Both soldiers are sort of bombing in, trying to find anybody, but they only find Charlie, and both of them die. Oh, finally, and that's by also going down. So 3 players dead already for Swift, but no soldiers for new team either. So the chase isn't going to be all that easy. And Seeds is going to stay alive with his scouts on second, waiting for whatever new team may try to do after taking this mid-fight.
Really smart call there on the mid-fight though for Charlie to just stay behind in choke and wait, in Saw, and wait for them to jump in. Metagaming after just 1 mid-fight worth of information is a lot of the time very difficult, but works out perfectly here. Just both soldiers jumping into no man's land, into rockets and dying quickly. Will speed up obviously what's happening here in the mid-fight for new team and get them the win here. With Siege staying alive, it's not quite as a fancy one as they would probably like, but still, as it stands, they will be in control of the match a little bit more here. No immediate sniper, unlike last time where they just didn't waste much time here. They want to try to brute force this in some other way. Scar's the ones to make it happen. Not quite yet though, just denied right away, but people on the pipe. not allowed in just yet. So things will slow down here a little bit longer for the stalemate, and it's just a matter of time before someone gets spotted. Last time they did play grass quite aggressively. Let's see how they take it this time.
They are spending a lot of time in Saw this time around, so might be a little bit of a change of strategy here. How they just peeking aggressively to try and bait out some players to maybe jump into the window, get caught out. Almost happened with a Disky there, who just barely decided not to. And Scar now bombing in, does not find anything but a little bit of damage onto Nazboy, who's actually dead now. Okay, he was just extended forward, I guess. I wasn't even paying attention to him at all.
Well, they sure did, and it will work out for them. Sure, it's Scar's down, but the demo pick is worth maybe just a tad bit more here for them. Certainly looks like it already. They want to take space on grass as quickly as they can here, if possible. They don't make it easy, but Charlie just jumps through for the force here. Might go down for it, but as long as the medic stays fine, this might be worth it. Going down 3, however, is really tough on them.
That's basically, at that point, you should have probably popped. Now they're down 4. It's only the demo and the med on the side of New Team here. Everex is even on with the chase, pressuring them out even more so. Even if you hang on to your Uber, you basically lost your entire team. So effectively, it's worth nothing. You lose the point, and they're back onto second as well. Now, actually, they got forced by a Disky. Yeah, a Disky got in behind.
That's
in the meantime,
them, actually, yeah, that's
so,
just changing everything. They can just carry this one up forward. There's nothing much New Team can do to defend second anymore. Not without the Evo and without positioning that they didn't have in the first place here. They could have relied on the Evo to just make up for playing passive, but not anymore, not like this. And Swift is just once again finding themselves at last with advantage here. Not much time to set anything up as well. Flick goes NG, but really can just put up the gun and hope for the best here. Unikako and Sniper as well, maybe looking for the hero shot. But Swift is not going to waste any time here, just busting out through Shutter.
Taking down Scar immediately, the Sentry not posing much of a threat at all, finally taken down as well. But that's about it for the side of New Team for now. Adisky is going to get picked up, but Charlie's going to get picked up as well. The Heavy does come out inside of Flick, and there's so much cap time on the point already. Only QB alive, and he's going to just focus down for a second quick round out of Swift. Much quicker than the first one.
Yeah, very reserved on last as well. They got the initial cap time here and wanted them to commit to point. They just fell back towards the lower area and waited for them to jump the cap here to blow them all up once they're there. So certainly know how they want to approach this here, take their time to do it. Certainly get it done still relatively quickly. 2-0 lead here, 17 minutes left to go for New Team to maybe make the comeback happen. A lot of time left to go for Swift to get anything more going as well and just confirm this lead once more.
Let's see if the mid approach is any different from this time for Swift, or if they're going to bomb in both soldiers again. Looks like Adisky was going to be trying to go behind a little bit, but is going to get cleaned up by Charlie. And now Gazzy's in behind as well, but that's about it. Everybody else on Swift is just falling back, completely forced out by that, and Gazzy in behind as the only player. Nobody seems to really be aware of him, or at least taking him into account. Is he going to win a 1v1 against Uni? Is he going to beef it instead? We'll have to see.
Sono's coming back anyway, but
yeah,
Unikako just wins it regardless. This is really surprising. New Team just has a huge read on them on the mid fights here. They just keep making like one good play happen and it just ends it instantly.
It really, like, they for somehow just immediately anticipated Disky was gonna go behind through Kitchen that time and completely caught him out. Scar now bombing high, trying to see if he can get onto Seeds. Lands one nice rocket, unfortunately does not get the follow-up, and Uni is also gonna get cleaned up in the aftermath. So that's 2 players committed for the medic that you will unfortunately not pick up there. New Team gonna have to play it carefully now with that force not happening. Adisky is going to try the same on their team. Unfortunately, he is not going to make it happen either. And it's just medics evading certain death over and over again.
Yeah, for now, this will still work out for Swift here. Still have to be scared of the sniper. Unikako once again to pick up the rifle here for the stalemate. Still have the time to rely on something as traditionally slow as the sniper here. Obviously, once you get going and have the sideline to work with, sniper can be huge, but it's often tough to really make it start off that way as well if they're just all really passively positioned here. Swift certainly well accustomed to having to play around the sidelines themselves, and with Adisky in spawn a second ago, just checking for the spy, for the sniper, making sure it's there so that nobody even gets the one surprise shot off here. They certainly will once again just play around corners as much as they can here to not fall prey to that.
Whatsoever, yeah. We have all of New Team really trying to play around that sniper as well, trying to get any ground for him, but if nobody for Swift wants to give them any sort of, you know, meat for him to shoot at all, then he's utterly useless as it stands. And yeah, Swift are playing around it really well. They pick up Charlie, who's trying to bomb in. Adisky's going to try to respond with a bomb of his own, does not find the necessary damage though. And I'm just going to be looking at teams staring each other down through choke point again. Everex going to try to aggress a little bit. Actually picks up an overextended QB. Very, very nice frag there onto the demo. Nice, crucial pick. It's going to definitely slow down NuTeam even more. And maybe even allow Swift to move in because they're pushing against a sniper who is not going to be able to get many shots off in a frantic fight necessarily.
Oh, Charlie's just fighting everyone as well here. Rochen goes down for though. Everex sneaks up behind. Charlie tries to just like man up, fight the entirety of the blue combo and does well enough for the longest time here. But just one player sneaking past him is going to put an end to this one pretty quickly here if they can't find a way to see it. Nice shot by Scar. Will get the scout here, but the medics being alive still is the bigger thorn in their side right now.
Definitely. He's going to now shut down mid as best as he can. And I mean, Swift, they do have that Uber, but if they really want to be careful, if they really want to be safe, they have to use it early. And with how far back NuTeam are playing, they're not going to be easily caught in this Uber as well. So they're going to have to play it very cleverly, very carefully. Everex is going to go in early, a nice little rocket onto Charlie and force him off the high ground as well. But ultimately, they're really going to have to play it carefully, not get the medic into too many careful situations. For now, he stays alive. QB's going to get cleaned up by Everex in the meantime. And that's the rest of NuTeam moving back. Everex is still in! My god!
Banked on the wrong angle there for the medic to surf into. Medic just takes the easy way out through the lobby, not through lower there. Will not get the wall shot. Still, Medic's weak and no one has good position right now after pressure already, so Everex being down is not even a big concern right now, because NuTeam just doesn't have the space to fight back here at all. Get the sniper kill obviously on top of all this, just to make sure that it's a little bit safer here. Jorge will have now, they might have time to build a gun as well here. But Swift on Lars have been doing good work so far and not trying to waste any time here to get something started. Tedeschi just looking for anything he can maybe shoot, but shot out the air well ahead of time here.
He did get a single rocket onto Jorge, but he just could not find him soon enough. He went for the early high bomb, but just could not find what he was looking for, and unfortunately that meant a quick demise. Scar obviously was trying to go for the same, and it didn't quite work out in his favor either, so on the defending site, sacking in a player is a very ballsy play, but I assume it's going to work out for them as Swift kind of just wait for something to happen, it seems. Very careful. They're very careful with that sniper. They really don't want to take any chances with it, especially when you're 2 rounds up. I mean, it's not a massive lead, so if you mess up enough times with that sniper on the enemy team, it could very well turn the tides in the favor of NuTeam very quickly.
Like, I mean, they've been playing careful most of this game here. They just had like a few good opportunities that they just like capitalized on greatly. But if there's a sniper waiting for you, able to hit these kind of shots, and it's going bad pretty quickly. And Seeds gets caught on the door as well. Will get forced on the way out here. They're trying to play safe, but just too late to do it. At least Kuno can sack for a soldier kill there. But how much is that going to change right now? Charlie with an 18-second spawn will not be up for any fight on second right now.
Especially with a full Uber as well.
Yeah, they're gonna take the fight up front as quickly as they can here. It's not subtle most of the time that second is recontestable very quickly if you dare. There we go. It just takes one player. In this case, like you said, will get through for the force here to just make something happen at least. They're trying to make the most of it on mid, but Uber fades by the time they're in, and Cubit just completely caught here.
Absolutely. You can't just chase that hard anymore. Scouts can't chariot out your medic. You're gonna not get forced this easily. I saw it a lot last week as well with the match between, what was it? Bus Crew and the team that nobody seems to like. My bad. Fucking Global Clan, that's what it was. They did it a lot as well. They would bomb in the demo as soon as the Uber started, but by the time the medic would try to even connect with him, he couldn't.
Global Clan fans in shambles right now.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, maybe they caught up with it by now. We're gonna see another Uber come in. They do lose Everex very early in it though, and Adiski also going down, so NuTeam holding on nicely. For the time being, only losing the sniper in their defense is definitely going to be good for them, and Jorge now coming up on his own Uber. We might even see a push out from NuTeam yet again, as Swift are just gonna try to hold on as much as they can. Scar is gonna just get a little bit of ground, maybe, yeah, just gonna create a little bit of a distraction, gonna create a little bit of, you know, scare people. It's in the name, you could say. As Charlie and Gazzy essentially trade on the sidelines. We're gonna see Flick actually take a lot of aggression here as well, Uni as well. Just everybody rolling forward, pushing back these Swift players, making sure that they don't get as much ground as they possibly hope for, and taking second for essentially free. Now with both teams up on their Uber again though, we might see an exchange here with Everex still down, I would not be surprised to see new team rolling forward. There is the exchange indeed, and we're going to see players staring each other down, flashing a lot, both medics, just to try and keep their players alive. Scar has, meanwhile, slipped in through behind, and he's going to be fighting Everex in the sidelines, while the rest of the teams still, finally, somebody dies. I was about to say that Uber faded like 15 minutes ago. How come nobody died yet?
Well, they want to fight on mid. It's a fight on mid they're
Yeah.
gonna get here eventually here, and SVIFT doesn't have the best positioning here. It's just a matter of what they can do with the little they've given right now. Everex starts to take things forward for them, and with the picks they've gotten here, in the end, this might just be good enough. Flick, spam, weak heavily. The scouts trolling through. Will get into Kuno is the one cleaning it up now. 3 down here, 1 just spawning, but SVIFT just has no time to waste to be able to use the lack of players on second just now, and certainly already on the cap here just to confirm this point as down.
And any point that they take is just going to save them so much time. With only 9 minutes left in the game and 2 rounds up, now it's starting to get a little hot for a new team here if they want to stay in this match and potentially take this map to a golden cap or even take any points home at all. So they're going to really have to try and make something happen here. For one, they're going to really have to hold this, because I don't see a universe in which Swift just parks the bus. They're not that type of team. But we'll have to see how they approach it. Obviously, Uni up on the sniper again. He can just catch out a very overextended player very easily. And he's definitely trying to go for an aggressive angle.
I don't know, they've been rather passive, rather safe this game, so I wouldn't be surprised if they don't dare too much here, besides some safe sacks here. Now maybe switching to snipers, well, just take it easy, have the big mistake happen on new team's part to desperately have to get a round going here. Obviously, still a 2-0 lead at 8 minutes left is putting a tough time on you. 4 minutes per round average right now is not making it all too easy for new team to come back into, at the very least, a golden cap, into at the very least a single point on the board here. And I mean, if you have the easy option, I can very much see Swift taking it right now. And at the moment, with the sniper staring them down, they're forced to sit back at least a little bit here, regardless.
At least they can't really, get Nasboy any sort of ground in lobby, and they can't really aggress on the left side too much, as they look to just coalesce a team and lower a little bit more. Move seeds into lobby through lower as well, so they have the entire team in there now. They're gonna have to make something happen with it as well. Again, Uni putting a lot of pressure just onto that side, but he's not looking at Shutter at all, so Everex can maybe get a little bit of spam in as well.
Scar won't be wanting the devil, but Nasboy doesn't know where to go, can't jump away either. Somehow that's the kill. Apparently the man is just a beast.
Scar's... he's gotta make something happen. I mean, that's a crucial pick for them to have here, absolutely. Uni, gonna try to get a cheeky shot off as well. He's very aggressive, but Swift are not gonna allow that. They're not gonna allow that at all. No, they're gonna push him back immediately.
Well, you can't allow the sniper to just have too much fun there in lobby. You need to be a little bit proactive at the very least.
Adiski is gonna jump into the sentry, but he's gonna get a nice couple of rockets onto Jorge, who just hides in the dispenser. So at least he's trying to go for a play there. It's a pretty safe one to go for as well. Charlie's going to try to respond with his own, gets 1 rocket onto seats, but that's going to be it as he gets shot down by anti-air guns. And we're seeing new team actually take a little bit of ground in lobby here off the back of that. And Uni's going to get a shot onto Everex as Gazzy gets killed by Scar as well, so that's 2 picks for them. Oh, getting another shot there by Uni.
Yeah, they're trying to make him get some better angles here, but it's
so
really
aggressive.
Just a brute force approach. Yeah, he's just all the way behind at this point, while the Uber already got forced. Doesn't look too good, but only got spotted now. They're having to chase him back all the way as well here. It's 2 down for new team, but for the exchange of that, they get 3 Uber out of them, I suppose. And Adiski caught immediately as well. That moment trying to get a little bit more here, juggled by all these rockets. Still quick cleanup here for Kuno. Finds that kill right away here. It's a bit messy right now. They can keep focus at this fine, but they need to be careful right now. The Swift has the time to peek for these force here very much immediately.
There's a lot of ground they can take as well with so little players to just oppose them on new team. There was nobody really there to cover any sort of entrances, and they're going to get the force out of Jorge and just force them to make a bad decision here. They do lose 2 players in it, and Seeds is dangerously low, so they're not going to be able to really contest second for the longest time, but Adiski is just going to slip past and at least kill Charlie. Unfortunately, that's going to be all that he's got to settle for, as the rest of his team are going to try to contest second as best as they can, but without the positions at all, they're just going to have to back out to mid, and new team are really going to have to start picking up the pace now with 5 minutes left in the game. They want to take at least 2 rounds here, and that's not going to happen as the Uber comes in and Kuno just completely runs down everyone.
Yeah, just exploding onto them around the corner, not letting anyone escape too much here. Both soldiers still alive, but they're barely even part of the fight here anymore. Charlie tries to get something going here. Block on second, it seems to be, as an attempt to try to waste some time here. Certainly is doing just that. Actually gets a kill on top of that as well. Lets at least the combo spawn, but is that enough with all of Swift already in here? Looking mighty dire. Scar going down. QB tries to block with the stickies, but is just helplessly outnumbered. Some nice fight with Avex, which wrapped around him. Well ahead of time before the scout can spawn to stop any of this. And then it's Swift going up 3-0 here. At this point, still doable, but it needs a miracle for DuMmTm to make it happen.
We're gonna have to see the TCM for this, absolutely. It's going to be very, very unlikely. Unless DuMmTm pull out a miracle out of their hat. Who knows? Maybe they can just absolutely... They have the read on a mid-fight, so if they can snowball off the back of that, it's gonna have to come down to this fourth mid-fight, really. This is going to be the deciding one, and if Swift just play this one slowly and carefully and don't let themselves get read too much this time around, who knows how it's going to go. Both soldiers are going to bomb in here for DuMmTm. Going to get a lot of damage, but no real kills. Seeds finally going down, but they're going to lose QB and Flick on their own side as well. Naspo's going to get picked up as well, so it's only Gazzy and Adiski alive, and they're both in behind. So it's looking like a one mid for DuMmTm right now, and the rest of the team already going to try to roll forward, but they've lost so many...
Don't count Gaz out just yet. He's fighting for his life here.
He really is, and he's going to pick up Charlie and scare off Scar. Maybe Scar's... No, he's probably decided that he doesn't really want to fight this anymore. Especially with the respawners coming in as well. It looks like overall that is a very long mid, but it's going to be one that Swift have won, and yeah. If you're a new team here, it's going to be looking very bad if you're a new team here. You basically already put this map in the books, and you're like, okay, let's put this one behind us. Let's focus on the next one. Let's get some cool numbers for the logs, and just deal with it later.
Pretty much. They're just trying to get some kills here out of the way. This kid gets caught. Avex barely lives that one. But at least he's staying alive. But yeah, they're just busting through. There's nothing to lose at this point. They just... Maybe even if just getting around here helps them stay in it, I guess, for the long game. You might as well try, but currently just running into a wall of pain. Nasboy shuts Flick down as well. That should be the end of the fight on mid right now. So it's still 2.5 minutes left, so Swift still with some time left to go here to maybe get one more round going for good measure. Certainly have the time to do so. Not so much the advantage right now.
You know, if you're a new team fan, you might actually be biting your nails right now, because there is very well a chance that Swift could still get the 5-0 on this. If they roll this forward with the momentum they're having right now, it is very realistic. It can very much happen. And they're not looking to waste any time. Adiski in already together with Gazzy, who's already died, as has Adiski. But you know, they're trying to make something happen. Probably goes dangerously low during that, so their sacks have at least had some effect, and we're going to see Scar pick up a nice little kill onto Everex as well together. Now with his friend Charlie, who's trying to maybe we get a little bit of a cheeky play here. Seeds is just so safe. He's going to pop off now, but ultimately he's just going to bait out the exchange out of the enemy team as well. Who's actually going to even have to pop. Kuno just beefs every shot, so probably not even forced to pop at all. No pressure whatsoever onto him or his target. His little demo man there. So Everex might just slip in and get the back cap. Oh, he's got two soldiers to fight. Kuno is in as well. Alright, never mind.
Around here.
Yep,
as we speak, not falling back in time. It's a 3-0 in my heart. In my heart, I'm correct about my prediction, but I mean, this is just a little bit of that time here. Swift is rounding this out with one more round. Technically time for one more, if the mid is a complete blowout. For either side, for that matter. But yeah, it was a close game for the most part here. They put them through a lot of work here, despite what the scoreline might suggest. A little bit more time left to go. Let's see if they can maybe get something interesting going on the mid-fights here.
Yeah, maybe for some reason DuMmTm is just going to develop something completely novel, like leaving their demo man in spawn. That's a very novel mid-rollout strategy. I haven't seen that one yet. Let's see how that's going to turn out for them. I mean, they pick up one, then they lose one, and then they pick up one. So they're one up. I guess they're equal. Can we consider that the demo hasn't even decided to leave spawn yet, but that's fine.
Yeah, QB's busy cooking an egg. Don't worry about him.
That's fine. It's the fun dead time. Yeah, I mean, as you said, the scoreline doesn't necessarily suggest that this would have been a rather close game, but it did take Swift, you know, almost 10 minutes to really get into the game. That first round was pretty long, and it took them a while to really find their footing against DuMmTm. And then, you know, obviously rolled forward from there, snowballed down the hill a little bit more, but they still gave them the odd hurdle every once in a while. DuMmTm definitely clinging on. They're not just letting themselves get completely run over. as you maybe would expect from a top Prem seed versus a more of the bottom Prem seeds this season.
More like mid-seed at this point, most certainly, if there was any doubt before it, I guess. They're making people work for it towards the expected top end here. So, yeah, 4 is the final scoreline. It's more like a 3-0 and 1 bonus round in the end here for Swift. You said they don't strike you as a slow team, but they certainly took the time here to just make sure that everything they did worked. Certainly, whenever they made like a decisive play, it was working quite well. So their patience gets rewarded here at the end of the day with 4 rounds after all is said and done. Yeah, very surprising though. New team still making people work for it right now. Swift still having to put in quite the work here, but playing slow is not quite as much an option going forward right now.
Absolutely. And I mean, Product is a map that doesn't really reward slow play either, so we're going to have to see how they completely change up their strategies for that. Let's look at numbers before then, because people love numbers, and numbers tell us which player was objectively the best at the game.
That's definitely how that works, yes.
I mean, it's objective. It is an objective measurement where you can see who
Well, you can see that Kuno
is
the best player in this league, apparently, because he got the big number on Scout. Who would have thought, even with the slight nerf, Scout is still pretty good. You just have worse opportunities with heal sometimes, but it doesn't matter so much if you're still good at the game. And certainly, him and Gas were just cleaning up left, right, and center very well this entire game here. Yeah, not too surprising, I guess.
Overall, I also think it's interesting to point out, obviously, overall, the stats for Swift better, more damage, more kills, and all that stuff. But ultimately, it's not a massive difference when you consider that they, according to the scoreline at least, essentially rolled the other team, right? So
yeah, it was a slow game a lot of the time, with a good amount of stamina in between those faster moments to even things out again, numbers-wise here. And while Swift obviously did come out on top more than they did in these fights, New Team did have their moments as well to shine. And really, I think early on, especially, it was some really unfortunate mistakes here as well. They had a chance even on last pushes, I believe, early on. Only after a little while, those opportunities just came out dry and didn't even get to last much anymore. So especially early on, New Team did have the fair shots and plays to be made here.
Other than that, I mean, there's not much that stands out to me. We can obviously look at the medics real quick. That's usually what you look at as well. And it's a similar story here. They're pretty evenly matched, Jorge having that 1 drop. And that's pretty much it. I mean, they both played as best as they could, naturally. And, yeah.
So yeah, it was an interesting game for sure. Like you said, heal stats not too outstanding here. Demo first, got seconds. So just eating a lot of the heals as well, just to be able to do exactly what they wanted to do. And they take a lot of damage on the Soldier's part as well. There was short moments in between every other part of the action here, where Avex and Charlie just tried to take the beam forward on themselves, try to get things started, and try to have the short moments of classic pocket Soldier role. Didn't do, I think, as much quite as intended, especially for Charlie, but the heals were well distributed insofar that whenever they went for those sort of solo moments, they did live what they wanted to live, at least.
Absolutely. But let's look at our next map, because clearly, at least from the past 2 weeks, it appears that Snakewater is just not New Team's map, but Product could be a very different story. It is a very different map, and the teams are even going to go as far as spike grabbing to decide who gets the color advantage on this one, because the lighting's a little wonky on this map, and you have a slight advantage when you play blue.
Most people do, because no one is good at left-handed jumps.
Yeah, I played very long. I played comp for very long, and I only understood what that was about on Product 2 years in. That there's a lighting difference because the shadows are different, and also the map is kind of asymmetrical.
Yeah,
but there's a certain preference, and overall,
not
one team is
I
better.
don't know the word right now. It's inverted symmetry, something like that.
It's like mirrored symmetry instead of the. It's not the rotational symmetry that all 5 CP maps have. It's the mirrored symmetry along the central axis, and that's obviously going to make things a little bit different. So
I know what
we're going to see some riveting spike grabbing. It appears that the players have chosen to be Charlie and EverX. Those are going to be your contestants for this spike grabbing battle here. Charlie with his balloon. We're going to see who's going to be the one. Also, the Halloween taunt is thrown in, so this might take even longer.
I didn't even think about that. And surely they didn't either.
Let's see who's
let it
going
be known
to
by the
grab
rules
it.
on ETF2L. it is normally a heavy fist fight. That's actually part of the rules, that if you can't decide who plays what, you just play a heavy fist fight to decide. They're deciding to gentlemen to spike grabbing, which is a rare sight here. A nice little smiley face by QB as well on the wall that we have here on connector, just to make things look nice and happy. Friendly gaming.
Let's see who's going to be the first one to spike grab. Could you consider the Furlotron spike grabbing? Because it's almost like it's a similar motion, but that's obviously like it's too common. Default. Oh, it is going to be. So the real question is, who's going to be the one that takes it? The first one to get it, or the first one to not get the spike
I guess
grab
to get it in the end.
Probably. Because it's a... it looks like Everx is going to be the one. He's the better spy.
They should have let Scar play spy. I mean, he did some stuff last map.
Yeah.
It would have been a move. Look at that. He's already killing him. I mean, man's insane.
Maybe they should have just let him.
360 backstab? Scar's nuts on spy. They should have let him spike up.
Really
That's just Charlie taking over as the team leader.
Just a spy main. Well, that looks like our teams have been decided, and SVIFT are going to be playing on Team Blue. So let's see how this match is going to turn out. What do you think this map is going to look like for both teams here?
I mean, if you lose the spy crab battle, you just don't have a chance, right? But realistically, it's going to be interesting, because product often forces out some weird stuff out of teams. Sometimes they play it very traditional. I don't know what kind of teams these teams will be necessarily. It's fresh teams for the most part here, with some synergy between a few players here on DuMmTm and SVIFT each. Will be interesting. Kuno's obviously notorious on Sniper. However, hasn't really played much Sniper in recent memory all too much. On his most recent roster on Nerd Rage, it was DuMmTm taking up the Sniper class most of the time, especially in situations like this where you'd rather want to have 2 scouts instead of 2 soldiers. So I wouldn't even be surprised if he doesn't really end up playing the class too much here. On the other side, we've seen Unikeko snipe a bit. In fact, he's still at least making them fear about it in the pregame right now. Question is who would be picking up the Scattergun instead if they want to go that route, and I wouldn't be surprised if they pick up a sniper that they do a big switcheroo as well. That's the awkward time as well, right? You always have your hit scan mains who are playing scout, obviously, in 6s, that are good on sniper, but it ends up with a position where you'd rather want to have another scout as well, and then it's like one of the soldiers having to step up to the task, and that's where the question arises: are any of your scouts, any of the soldiers good enough scouts as well? Sometimes you see it, but it's rare.
As far as I remember, I believe Disky is a capable scout, as far as I can remember from the times I've seen him play the class. He's definitely capable on the class. He could probably, he wouldn't anchor down his team horrendously by playing scout in order to have a Kunu snipe. But on new team, I have no clue who would be able to take up that mantle. I haven't seen either Charlie nor Scar play enough, nor have I seen them play enough scout to really, decide which one of them would be better for it.
To the last time they've been in Prem, but I don't remember. That was like, 2-3 seasons ago at this point, a little bit of a while ago last year at some point on Cinnamon of Perfection with like the 2 Frenchies and Unikeko here as well. But I don't remember if that was ever a concern for them too much. I guess we'll see. Even that aside, there's just like still different ways you can approach this entirely just on how you want to see things happen. Sometimes you just see the soldiers be like really aggressive in their face. A lot of the time, especially towards high levels, a lot more the soldier plays through the backlines that you see be commonplace. But that doesn't mean you can't get away with just good old brute force approach, soldier in, and everyone pushes across as well. You still have some options here, and it's just entirely up to you what choice you want to make here. For the next map coming up, SVIFT against new team on map 2, week 2, it is King of the Hill product. Kunu baiting the sniper, switches off, gas baiting the spy, and waiting a long time to switch off in the end here, making them think about it, but no off classes just yet.
Yeah, we're going to see a very traditional start to our first round of product as both teams make their way to the point and just, they gotta wait. I mean, the point isn't even capable yet, so the best they can do is just bomb each other and maybe get a little early pick. Charles gonna bump in, and he's actually gonna pick up seeds, so that's gonna be a very crucial pick there. But both soldiers are down for new team, and they're gonna use Hope as well, so any advantage they could have had is immediately erased, and now it's just down to the DM fight. And it looks like that's going to be going in the favor of SVIFT for the time being, as Cube is the only player left alive, who's maybe even going to get killed by Gazi here. No, okay, he's going to escape, but only barely.
Alright, something we neglected to talk about between maps is the fact that most of the fights just looked overall better for D team here. It was like 2.5 with like the late one at the beginning, mid-wins for them here basically, on the last map. Something that could matter with just the pure like preset play coordination here for a map like this where the first cap matters a lot. However, SVIFT running away with this. puts a wrench into that fort for now as they're able to get the first cap going their way, and obviously still keeping up some aggression. Charlie with a huge direct onto gas, not letting him play too much of anything there. They need these picks to get going here. Disky weak on the flank as well. They're starting to edge the timer here with no Uber to speak of just yet. It's going to be a little bit harder to contest the point here. Nice bomb by Avax, but it's not going to last for very long.
Yeah, he's only going to pick up QB with that. Scar is going to trade himself in against a Disky, and we're going to just see these teams, they're going to cap out the point. We're going to see them exchanging a lot of damage here across the point, and obviously Swift do not want to let themselves get pushed out of this at all. They're going to immediately re-aggress and only allow 11 seconds to run off the time for New Team, who are now going to use their Uber. Very late response from Seeds, and they actually might just lose Flick to this. They very well will. Could just not get flashed again. And it's looking a lot better for Swift as they hang on to the point and also just completely push out any form of aggression from New Team. Scar going for a high bomb, but obviously nothing to find, so he immediately opts out of it, and we're gonna have to see them reassess this. Approach this point a little bit differently. Disky still being down is going to give them a little bit more room to work with, but not as much. Scar's gonna go down to a nice little arrow by Seeds, so they're not gonna let anything happen to him. And they're gonna only lose the point for probably not more than 30 seconds if I had to guess.
We'll see. The aggression already starting here. Swift doesn't want to waste any time. No time to do so on a map like this. So pressure towards point already. Not much cap time just yet. As you see, trying to follow through with Avax's damage towards the flank here. Doesn't get a ton going. Enough for Nasboy to clean up QB here. That's 2 for 1 though, and even a double pick might just not be enough here right now. They're trying to make it work, and there we go. Good focus fire. Nas and Gas together will team up to get Charlie, get the cap time going. Not enough for a pick, and he can't go on the flank. Will just clean up everything his team presents as well. Finds himself in front of the soldier as well, and just annihilates the Disky too. He's just a one-man army on the flank. Force on the other side on the point here as well, coming out, but that's fine for New Team since they're with these numbers now not able to get much going here. Bomb off the scout pressure for Scar as well. Doesn't get the medic though in the end.
Unfortunate. So much manpower pushed into that combo, and they're just not able to finish it off, unfortunately. But at least it was going to be enough for them to cap out the point for a while and run down a bit of time before Swift finally retakes it. Also, more aggression. Charlie's not going to get Seeds. The man is too slippery. Just surfs up onto that cliff. Meanwhile, a Disky just absolutely destroyed Jorge. And, yeah, it's not looking good for New Team right now. Oh.
Yeah, not with much standing here. They obviously cannot really contest the point much anymore here, so Swift getting a little bit of time on the board for themselves, extend the time lead they have right now, and obviously on top of that with an Uber advantage as well. This is looking mighty nice for them right now towards the final minute of their own timer, so New Team has to get going quickly here, and this Uber is going to make that incredibly difficult.
I'm really looking at how they're going to try to approach this. With Charlie bombing in early, he's going to try to get some damage, and even QB, that's the sack wave that you love to see on product. Now Scar's in as well, but he's not going to find anything really important. He's not going to be able to get anything. Seeds barely hangs on and forces out his Ubers, so at least they've managed to do that. But is it going to be enough? I mean, it is a tough round. This might be the last Uber that they're going to get if they even, get it in time. If they don't manage to do a good push here, this could very well be a round in the books for Swift already. So it's all on how they break this forward hold. As they move in through mid, they're gonna have to use early just to break through the sticky traps, and that's gonna mean that the Uber doesn't really find anything. Nazboy obviously goes low, but ultimately survives, and Cube is gonna be the first player to go down. Everix is gonna get cleaned up afterwards, but they just didn't get enough ground with the Uber at all, and Swift are just hanging on, cleaning up the stragglers. Flick is gonna pick up a little kill onto Nazboy, but is it going to be enough? He can't really fight 2 scouts and a soldier. He does have Uni to back him up now, and QB's in as well, so he might be able to deal out some damage, but unfortunately it is not enough. And Swift is going to take the first round.
Yeah, really nice endgame there by Swift as well. You don't see these really long forward holds that much, especially towards high level. They're only for as much as they matter here, and certainly this one was just enough to matter for Swift. He just slows them down enough to make him have no time towards point and force Uber early as well, to the point where Uber just couldn't catch anything and just waste all the time they had left for New Team to get the round on the board, going into round number 2 here.
As we see, New Team really, they just want to take home at least some form of rounds here. They want to make something happen. But they're going to pick up 2 early players. I mean, they're only going to lose Uni for it, so it's a decent trade to do. Disky's going to try to jump in. He does only find Flick, though, and he's going to get cleaned up as well. So 3 players down for Swift. A decisive point take here for new team, but they did not get the mid, so they're not gonna have any advantage to speak of. And we're gonna see an exchange, probably a nice aggression from Cliff coming out of Swift any second now. Seeds is building a little bit slower because, you know, half his team died, but ultimately I doubt that's gonna matter much as he poises himself to take Everx and Kunu in here across the point immediately. They're gonna try to get on Hohe, they're gonna force him out as well. Obviously he's gonna have a way better Uber, and they're gonna send people into the skybox, but no frags really falling. Finally, Kunu gets cleaned up. Seeds is also dangerously low. If anybody can follow up on that damage, it's gonna be a big pick for them, but it's ultimately not gonna happen, and Everx gets cleaned up behind, so... Oh, God, Scar Craters, though.
Well, it's gonna keep the point alive for now, and new team with the cap in possession right now is gonna be really happy about this one. Swift yet to start that time off here at all for round 2. It's gonna look pretty nice, but I guess we'll see how this looks once Swift actually gets going again. And certainly they want to get going well before the Ubers are, not wait too long here. Unikaku gets caught already, flicked really weak on Furok as well. Charlie's distracting people behind, but they also have to deal with a scout in the midst of themselves as well. Bomb followed through by a Disky with that as well. Cleans up off the scout damage here. Will get Hoche caught. It's just a matter of Seeds living, and he's way too weak. Served on the silver platter, that is the point to live these sort of attempts on his life. And well, Swift will cap this up in a second here. Very well aware of the fact that if they delay this cap, Seeds will have much better spawn time here. So waiting a few seconds worth of time here, just to not lose anything else otherwise.
That was a very interesting fight because halfway through, when I just see people fighting, you know, on the side of new team, just like behind the buildings and stuff, I just see QB running across mid with his pan out, trying to kill people, and just getting absolutely destroyed by Nasboy. But that was fun to watch. Yeah, but ultimately a surprisingly equal fight, and we're off into the next one immediately. QB gonna get picked up early, and the soldiers for new team just jumping all over the place. Charlie's in behind. Scar's gonna take some fire as well, and Swift is going to be forced back to the cliffside a little bit, but in the meantime, Adiski and Kunu just clean up everyone behind. And the sack wave has only been so effective, as in they didn't accomplish anything.
Yeah, not much done here, unfortunately, with this. Will mean back to even. You can see Avex just jumping over the wall here, or trying to see what's happening on the other side and find out what they're trying to do here as the forward hold is set up. It was really crucial for them last time. Still a lot more time to go here, so it will not immediately end this game, but can get an interesting amount of time here if this takes a long time once again. Right now, Scar caught by the sticky trap as everyone else tries to go through the other side. Pyro and Uber pop through here to try to get things going. Will get at least the soldiers down for now, but they also have to deal with Scout in the backline. Gas claims the demo man here. This Uber will get even on numbers, but with Seeds out alive out of this one. Swift still in a much better position out of this.
Absolutely. If you're a new team here, you also have to try and aggress onto the point here. It's going to be very, very hard for you, and Swift basically just have to bide their time, and they even have the Uber in the back pocket in case they really need it, which they will as Seeds finally pops it off. And all of new team are just going to be forced to immediately run for their lives as best as they can. They haven't lost anybody yet. QB on 1 HP, but he is going to live. Charlie, in the meantime, is going to be the only player cleaned up, and now Uni as well. But honestly, in a situation like that, only losing 2 players is probably a very desirable outcome. And we're going to see new team immediately try to rebuild their Uber. They almost have it, so they will maybe try to reaggress as 2 players are onto Hoppe. So, unfortunately, I'm just talking out of my ass.
Yeah, they were just in there the moment you mentioned how they're going to get this Uber any second. 90-something it was for Jorge, and then suddenly just a scout and soldiers instantly appear in front of the medic and don't let him have a chance to get this Uber up and running. And this was looking so nice for the team for a little while, but they just cannot make it back to point right now. So it's making it really, really difficult. In fact, maybe just difficult enough already. A little bit more time left to go here, but Seeds has the Uber now as well, and with only 20 seconds left to go, 8 seconds of invincibility could be curtains.
Yeah, this is... New team have to basically cap the point here against an Uber and everything, so it's going to be very tough for them. If they don't, all of them just push out right now and get the cap time finished, they're gonna lose the round immediately. If they want to stay in this round at all, they do have a nice little Uber advantage, so if they can maybe get on the cap time, install the round out in overtime as long as possible, which is not looking like it's gonna happen. That could have been a chance there. Unfortunately, it looks like that's gonna be a second round for Team Swift. Heading into our match point already.
Yeah, as you might be aware of already for a little while now in ETF2L, we have the rules that 2 points means you have the pity point in the bag. You get 1 regardless of who wins in the end. However, Swift only needs 1 more round on the board as well to just secure all 3, so why not get the big bag here? Not settle for any small things instead. Let's see if they can do so successfully. For now, they certainly played well. Maybe starting off slow at the beginning of the rounds each time, a little bit, giving NuTeam a lot of time, but once they have the point, they're just not giving it up at all anymore.
It's like an iron fist. They're just holding it down and not giving it up ever again. So we're going to see this fight commencing. Players have been exchanged a little bit, and it looked like the frags are falling in favor of NuTeam ever so slightly, but the health is a lot better on the side of SVIFT here. So it's going to be an interesting one. NuTeam do take the first cap, but SVIFT ultimately in a good position to try and re-aggress a little bit, and with the respawners coming in a little bit earlier as well, and no QB, so no demo for the longest time for NuTeam here. It's going to mean a lot of ground free to take. He's finally met up with his team again, so SVIFT might be looking at a little bit of a harder fight than they anticipated here. With both teams up on their Ubers as well, we might see an exchange very soon. It basically depends on which team decides to send in their soldier first to try and force it. And it looks like it's going to be a Disky who goes in behind together with Gazi. And they're going to just, you know, roll up the backline a little bit, with Charlie being the player to trade against EverX, though. Flick also getting taken down. Yeah, it's not looking good for NuTeam, and they're going to have to use their Uber to just keep the rest of their players alive. Obviously, Seed's in no immediate danger whatsoever. Uni just absolutely shut down on the sidelines. And it's looking very good for SVIFT now. Not only do they have the point cap, but they have a full Uber advantage that they probably just hang on to. If they have to use it to just force out these NuTeam players, which, you know, they're very aggressive, so they might as well. Not a bad idea, but they don't even have to. They can just clean up the last few straggling players, and as NuTeam just tries to build their Uber and wait. We're gonna see them just count down the timer.
Alright, well, we are back on track with how the last rounds have been looking. NuTeam with a decent start. Now SVIFT has the point. Can NuTeam finally make the switch happen here? They need so desperately. It's basically the last few chances here right now in round 3. With matchpoint starting already. Disky on the flank. It's with the medic. Doesn't need the airshot. Doesn't have time to reload one more either. That will not be the kill on the medic. That is crucial for them to have this Uber up and running as they make their way to point right now. Try to bust through this defense here in any capacity.
Absolutely, and maybe that's going to be enough to really put pressure onto SVIFT. It has to be. I mean, they trade Scar for EverX, so ultimately they just traded a soldier for a soldier. And with players down, the Uber does come out of Seeds. Jorge obviously responding with his own immediately. Flashing a little less, so he's got a slightly better one, but he only has a single player to keep it on. Finally, somebody else shows up, and the man of Charlie here, and he's gonna kill Nazboy. But Jorge's in such a precarious position here. He's only got a single scout. Scar finally shows up as well. Seeds has so many more players around him to just try and keep him safe. They lose Gazi. I'm surprised, honestly, that none of the NuTeam players have died yet.
In fact,
hang on really well.
Getting a kill onto a Disky as well in a little bit of flank 1v1. They try to awkwardly jump away from each other, but Scar gets the advantage of this one. They get back on point, keeping the time as close as can be right now. SVIFT with a small time lead. Similarly, so small Uber advantage as well, but tough to make either of those two matter right at this moment for them. Let's see what the non-Uber plays make happen though. Soldier behind already. Scout Soldier trying to bust through the flank with Ikaku completely outnumbered here, and EverX just wraps around to get him as well. Flank completely busted, and they're just making the most of this right now. Back on the combo with them and throwing themselves on the players here that they have available, and that's just everyone getting dropped before Jorge has tried to get a funny arrow out. Will not get a kill, let alone much damage here. Might get them out in time, but Disky's waiting to pipe in his face right away, but EverX on the other side. Perfectly played off that.
Absolutely perfect. Just put them into the little cubbyhole building and just pincer them completely. Wonderfully done by SVIFT. Completely chased out NuTeam, and that's going to be yet another huge Uber advantage for them to hold on to as they possess the point with about a minute left on the timer. So the ball is in the court of NuTeam, and they have to make something happen here if they want to stay in this match and take home a round or even the map. We'll have to see how they try to approach it. Charlie bombs in behind early, but doesn't really find anything. Seeds just dodging and weaving, finally pops off his Uber, but 2 players are already dead on NuTeam, and that was before the Uber even started, so the rest of them are going to have to try and run for their lives. Cube is going to get caught out as well, and that is only Flick and Jorge, who's just going to get killed in spawn by Yadiski and Kunu, so that's great.
Yeah, the two of them just team up to get that kill just in time before he makes it through that shutter door and spawn. And that's going to kill a lot of hope here on top of the medic. So, Seeds with big advantage here. Uber will realistically only really be close to being up by the time they will give a point if they need to. So they have that option available to themselves now if they even get it at all. Because for now they are still trying to fight back on this point as much as they can. People on NuTeam trying to make it difficult, trying to get the damage over the cap here in any capacity. But looks like they cannot do so in time here. And then should be, I would assume, the server ending a second early. Someone gets sand or something. Nope, never mind.
Just a little bit of lag spike. Okay, fair enough.
That was the longest loading time there for the game to be closing down any second that I've ever seen.
I wonder if there's a minute left on the timer, but the round has already ended and there's about a minute of delay. I wonder how this could have gone.
Weird.
Unfortunately, it's like almost like a spoiler, but we do see New Team take the point ever so slightly off the back of that, so at least they hang on for a little bit longer. But it's only a matter of time before Swift just comes back into this. They have a lot of time to work with, and they do definitely have to just cap out the point to win the round. So let's see how they approach this hold by New Team, which is very, very passive, by the way. They might have an Uber coming up soon, but if Jorge can't even pop it on anybody...
Oh, it gets it out in time.
It does get out in time, but again, it's just... It's so much cap time for Swift, and Gazzy's just going to step on the point, get even more of it. It's so much cap time. All they have to do is just commit some bodies to it, and with Seeds coming up on his Uber right now, this could be the round-winning play that we are going to see here. It's only Charlie and Jorge. QB and Flick are trying to make their way over, but it's not going to be enough. Adiski and Seeds hang on with the Uber charge, and that's going to be that. They're just going to clean up these last few players. Gazzy comes in as well, and that's going to be the round for Swift. GG's.
Was close for this round at the end here, but like we said earlier, Swift with point control looked really scary this game. Maybe tried a bit too much at the end of this game here, but in the end, it worked out really well here. So from one relatively competitive map to just a little bit more of a less close affair here, if that makes any sense at all. Swift just looking very confident on this product map right now. I don't envy their opponents next week at the moment.
We'll have to see about that, but yeah, obviously, it's very interesting to see how New Team were a lot stronger always headed into the rounds, but as soon as Swift had that point control, it was just on complete lockdown. They just completely shut down anything that, you know, New Team tried to throw at them in any capacity whatsoever. So that's going to be a very telling thing for the logs as well, if we even want to look at numbers.
A quick glance might not hurt, but we hopefully can wrap this up quickly, because I believe the other game might still be going on TeamTV1 as well. We'll see, I guess, but let's just look at a quick glance here for the logs just to get a general idea. But it was only a 17-minute game in the end. Swift wrapping this up in 3 rounds total. And unlike last map, where it was somewhat close given the length on the raw numbers here, obviously a much different affair if you can just play this much more freely on these points here.
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely shows in the numbers as well. Just overall, Swift, a much more dominant performance on the map. The only player that didn't go positive is Adiski. And I mean, he's, you know, he did a lot of bombing, so that's completely to be expected. It's kind of his job. So, yeah, just an overall very clear-cut telltale sign of which team was the more dominant one here, unfortunately, for New Team. But they still stay in.
Yeah, they have some season left to go.
I don't really want to say it. I mean, you know, they've had a rough patch with like 2 of the best teams at the start, but they haven't taken a single round yet this season, so...
Well, I mean, not letting them just get 5-0 as well against these top teams
good
is
enough,
certainly
I suppose,
a start at least. And I always said as well, having it as like the underdog position, the like top-seeded teams early, is probably better for you. It just gives you time to practice, warm up for when it really matters, and it will start mattering very soon, because up next for them, I look at the tables already ahead here a little bit in the future for week 3. It's Königsberg for Defense here, which we can see on TFTV1 playing right now. That's a match they definitely will have to win if they want to establish themselves as a mid-table position team here that they, by themselves, I think, were expected to be here. Swift, on the other hand, have Global Clan up next, probably very much easily doable still. But I guess we'll see. Swift is just ramping up for a little bit of a gauntlet here the weeks after that, pretty much. So I guess we'll see. But with that, let's just round this out. Don't forget to follow all of us on various social medias you can find in chat, as well as our Twitters on our overlay here, as well as don't forget to check out clash.tf for the Essentials Cup hosted by DreamHack, coming up in about 2 weeks worth of time on the weekend, 14th to 15th, hosted on the DreamHack Twitch channel. I will be covering open games as much as I have time for on my Twitch channel as well, same name as you can see on stream. And with that, let's just round this out, and we'll see you guys next week with some more ETF2L Premiership, and that's us out.